guys, Ryan Reifert here. Couple orders of business today. First order of business. If you're enjoying these videos, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, like, comment, etc. Engagement helps a lot, particularly subscribers. But if you have any other ideas for videos that you'd like to see in the future, go ahead and let me know. Second order of business. I wanted to thank my friend Morgan Matson for having me on his podcast this past week, Preferred Perspectives, actually talking about the exact topic that we're going to talk about right now. Morgan is a good legal recruiter here in San Antonio, good dude, known him for a while. You can find his podcast at Preferred Perspectives if you search on Apple Podcasts or Anchor or I believe a couple other places. It's featured in several. Or if you go to his preferredcounsel.net is his website. So again, thanks again, Morgan, for having me on there. He has a lot of really good guests from time to time. It's something that y'all would probably enjoy, so check it out. Now, the third order of business, let's talk about the mask mandate, Chapter 3. So kind of an update inception here, that we had our our first update when Governor Abbott lifted it in the March 2nd, I believe. Said, okay, in a week, the mask mandate is lifted. Local municipalities, cities may not require masks. All capacities are back to 100%, full occupancy, et cetera, et cetera. People had about a week to adjust to that. Austin, surprisingly or not surprisingly, Austin decided that they are going to Austin and kept their mask mandate in place, basing it on the rationale that the Austin Travis interim public health, basically the top doctor, basing it on like public health considerations, saying, okay, well, Governor, you prohibited mask mandates from over here, but our authority for the second one is coming from over here, so we're going to keep enforcing it. Well, the first update video that I did on this, I predicted, no way in hell are they going to win. Well, surprise, they got a reprieve from the judge on the TRO hearing, or the emergency restraining order. And then something else happened yesterday, that Austin won again. So let's take a brief little procedural detour here for y'all to legal nerd out just slightly. So the first one of those hearings, the emergency restraining order, is more or less what it sounds like. It's an emergency, right? The other party has very, very little notice of the hearing, very, very little time to prepare, if any. Sometimes it's entirely ex parte, but it's meant for an emergency. It's meant for like, hey, this thing is going to happen, and some irreversible harm is going to happen. So you need to enjoin the person from doing the thing. Well, and then there's also some mixed in there of like, some sort of likelihood of success on the merits, right? So you can't file a completely frivolous TRO on someone. You can't do that. But so Austin prevailed at the emergency restraining order hearing. The judge said that she wanted to hear more from both sides. So she gave him 2 weeks, committed to rule on the same day as the trial yesterday. So Austin had a 2-week stay of execution. So I thought, and again, if you go back and read Governor Abbott's executive order, it says in no uncertain terms that local cities and municipalities may not require masks. And in addition to the order being so specific, I think myself and most others who had followed this we figured that this was settled law from back in the early days of 2020, when municipalities were sort of finagling around with how can they require masks, and eventually everybody figured out the loophole of you can't require masks directly, but you can require the business to require masks through a safety policy and blah, blah, blah. Well, so we all thought that was settled. Well, surprise, at least in this isolated case with this isolated judge, perhaps more largely, but at least here, it is not quite so settled. So yesterday, the city of Austin won again and got their temporary injunction denied, meaning that the mask mandate will continue to be enforced in Austin for the time being. The state of Texas is appealing. I think I certainly expect that they will prevail. I expect that Austin will lose, but I've been wrong twice already, so take that with a grain of salt. Again, the takeaway for business owners with this is stay tuned and watch what happens with Austin, because probably a couple of the major cities, certainly San Antonio and Dallas, maybe a few others, are watching what is happening with Austin. And if Austin does ultimately prevail upon appeal, very likely that you'll see mask mandates coming back in those cities. So in any event, this does not change, however, the conclusion that we talked about a few weeks ago, that if you're a business owner and you want to continue enforcing the mask mandate on your property, on your business, you are allowed to do that. You don't have to right now, at least not in San Antonio. You are allowed to lift the mask mandate if you want, but as a property owner, you can implement a dress code. You can't bring a flashlight to a movie theater, can't wear flip-flops to the opera, that kind of thing. So you can enforce a no shoes, no shirt, no service, right? Like, you can enforce a dress code that includes a mask. So anyway, again, like, subscribe, comment. Let me know if you have a topic that you want to hear, or if you'd like to have a conversation with me on YouTube, and put your thoughts out there for everybody here. Go ahead and reach out. So thank you guys again. Take care.